everyone, my name is Mitz. Here you are back at Higurashi When They Cry. So, this might seem like the chapter we go on to be like Shion as the main protagonist, going through her going to the answer arcs, but I'm just looking through and getting some advice about this chapter. We're actually focusing on Rika as to be her being the point of focus, and this is meant to be a very shorter chapter because due to the part at the time the author did not have a lot of time to finish to start the answer arcs, and this was made, I guess, to tie people over until then, which is weird to think about. That almost everyone in the friend group was not considered to have their own chapter dedicated to them, and only just Reina, Mion, and then Sadako. But with that tip about Rika only being an incarnation of Oyashiro, sometimes be I guess true in some capacity. I guess it gives a more mysterious attitude to her since she doesn't talk a lot, and just the attribute it gave him. If you expected her to die at some point because the first chapter almost, then you pay attention to way much more. And actually, there's a few things considering the ending of the last installment that I definitely do think at some level the coach has some involvement to it, as it seems like for anyone to get closer to Takano, Mio Takano was a nurse at the clinic which he works at, and since he works at the school and can maybe talk to the kids and they all think he's a good guy, honestly it could work into his advantage to manipulate Reina or Mia to do some terrible things, go on a killing spree or anything like that in some part. And also, he has that connection to, one of the victims, Mita Kano, along with Tomataki. There is that. There's a possibility. I'm not pushing on the table, though, because, I definitely do think someone, the clinic definitely might have something to do with it, especially since a quote-unquote doctor has come to the house, which honestly could be Coach in time being. And thinking about it now, I'm looking through editing of the last installment, there's a bunch of weird paragraphs for the credits of for the Great Hinamizawa disaster, going through all the lists of what happened to everyone. And there's a bunch of just jumbled up letters, talking a sentence or paragraph about each person commenting on things. There's a few interesting ones in there that for example, talking about Oishi could be a great ally if you play your cards right and stuff like that. I haven't read through them all just yet. Read just a handful, a few of them, so I'll need to go through that. But I'm kind of curious exactly how they're going to continue and wrap up, I guess, the mystery arc, the question arcs for Rika's side in here. It still feels weird that she's getting destroyed under the stick almost. I feel like she would be getting her most dedication, I guess. Huh. Himatsubushi. For you, the final mystery. Time killing chapter. That's a perfect way for the title for this. I now entrust you with all mysteries hidden within Higurashi when they cry. However comical it may be, if you've reached any conjecture, then you have passed. This found novel is a meager reward for you. Conjecture is impossible. You have the right to reject the story. And more details wouldn't hurt. And again, thank you for the laughter of to get us through this. Okay. This arc includes choices that were added in the console version. These choices result in dialogue changes and can lead to bad ends. Do you want to see these choices? Huh. If I say no, will it just go on a path anyway? If this is the shortest chapter, then literally the achievements from the other installments, for this one it's half. There's 16 for the other ones, reading the tips and all that, and this one is just down to 8. So I'm kind of curious though. Skip additional choices, show only content from PC version. Prompt additional choices from console version. Prompt choices and highlight correct answers. I do actually want to look through it all though. So wait, prompt additional choices from console version. Does that go and give more? From the console version gives more content, I'm assuming. Let's skip additional choices. I'm kind of curious though what all of it is though. If it doesn't really add anything, I'll probably change it back, but if not, then yeah. Who is the criminal, you ask? Don't we search for them in this story? Who is the criminal, you ask? Do you even know what the criminal did? Who's the criminal? Who is the criminal who will kill me now? Federica Berncastel. Same thing, those messed up letters. Midsummer 1985. Isn't this like 2 years after, like, the normal happenings of the festival? What is this? Huh. Hmm. Also, before I forget, also, like, thinking about it, Coach also might have some relation to it, and that's why he offed himself with the pills. Maybe. There's also that, too, where, like, someone, like, purposely, like, gave him something to drink and made it look like a suicide. There's that, too. I had misread the time, ended up arriving too early. Who were we playing as? The schedule board flicked with a series of clacks. My flight to Sapporo was still a bit later on. I still had over an hour before boarding. Well, might as well close my eyes for a bit on that bench over there then. I came here directly from work, so maybe the fatigue from that was making me sleepy. Finding a suitable bench, put my luggage in the seat next to me and settled down. We're playing as an adult? Akasaki. Akasaka. There were a few people in the credits of the last installment which I don't think I've ever heard before, which is weird. That or I'm completely forgetting their names and all that. Maybe it was some of the villagers that are just walking around. But it feels poignant that they were given like an actual like name in the listing. I'm probably forgetting their names now. I sighed like an old man. I had hoped to stay young forever, but had become splendidly middle-aged. Apparently, the rumor that even people in the latter half of their 20s experience a decline in their physical strength wasn't a lie. Maybe. I'm not there yet. It had been mind-numbingly busy at work lately, so I rarely had any time to myself. This might have been the first time I'd been able to enjoy a journey alone like this since I was a student. The reason behind this trip was to meet with an old friend. Are they still alive, though? It was a bit strange to call him an old friend, but it might be better to call him a bad one. After retiring a couple years ago, he moved to Sapporo, his mother's hometown. Oh, wait, is that Keiichi? No, not Keiichi, is that, Oishi, actually? He did mention that, like, Oishi was gonna retire and go to his mother's, like, live with his mother. Like, guess move her into, like, his house. His mother passed away soon after, and he was now peacefully enjoying his second lease on life. Yep, okay, gotcha. Okay, we're playing a friend of of his then. His name was Kuroda Oishi. Assuming like this has no ties to the other ones then, this is his own separate canon then. So then, does that mean, is there technically a universe out there where literally nothing even happens the festival day? Nothing happens, and not even Sadako's uncle comes. Literally just nothing happens. He was a former detective from the primary investigation unit at the station Okinomiya, Blank Prefecture. To be honest, the only direct contact we ever had didn't last more than 3 days. So why are you good friends enough to visit him then? After that, we exchanged New Year's cards but never met again. Okay, so again, why are you there? Do you just have business with him? So this would be the first time meeting him in 7 years. Okay. In other words, we met 7 years ago. Wow, thank you so much for that. Anagrams. In 1978. There was something I had just had to ask. I talked to him about concerning that time. Okay. You had to do it in person then? Not a phone call, a letter? More facts? To explain that, it was impossible to recall the incident that happened back then. That kidnapping. The kidnapping? The details and resolution of which were resigned to darkness. Also, it was impossible to not recall a certain mysterious girl. My first thoughts, Rika. My name is Mamoru Okasaka. It was a year that had been strangely hot even though it was only June. Isn't that summer month, though? Okay, early summer, 1978. Huh. Goodbye, teacher! Okay, bye. Watch out for cars. Don't drop in on a friend's house along the way. Okay, don't chase cars. Make sure you get your textbooks in order for tomorrow before you go to bed. Clatter, clatter, clatter. The lively sound of children running towards the hallway. Hey now, didn't I tell you before? I already have one of those. I don't need any more. Unique high-pitched voice of youth. The energetic shrill of the cicadas went completely unheard by their ears. Okay. We're just going the third person for this section then? Okay. Children returning home from school split off one by one from their groups of friends as they went through intersections in the residential area. Even though there were several of them in a group as they left the school, as they got closer to their homes, their numbers dwindled. That's what the fewer friends you were walking home from was acted as an indicator that you were that much closer to your destination. Later! See ya! Yeah, see you tomorrow. He finally parted ways with his last friend. A van was parked at the bend in the road. The window was open, the sound of the radio leaking outside. It must have been the news or something. For that reason, the three of them were arrested for traffic violations and obstruction of justice. Due to the protests against the Hinamizawa dam project resulting in bloodshed when clashing with riot police last month, things have only become more violent. Okay, so this is the year when the Hinamizawa dam project happened then, okay. The police are therefore taking precautions against radical activists causing yet another incident. Last week, there was also a direct confrontation with Minister Inukai on the steps of the Ministry of Construction. The boy's ears perked up at the mention of the name Inukai. At that moment, a man's face peeked out suddenly from the window of the van. His behavior was a little different than that of a man looking around to see if there was any incoming traffic before he opened the door of his vehicle. His eyes meeting suddenly with the unfamiliar man, the boy panicked slightly. Oh, I thought it was a person picking you up. My very first thought if it was him was stranger! Nightingale, okay. Nightingale? Skylark, okay. They've secured the 2 blocks around us. Okay, spies. What? We're good to go. The man in the passenger seat whispered quietly. Nodding acknowledgement, the man opened the door and stood before the boy. You. Are you Toshiki Inukai-kun? What? While asking it, the man peered the boy's name tag. Okay. Toshiki Inukai. The name was written plainly there. Run. Okay. The phone rang for a third time. If he reached out, he could easily pick up the receiver. However, he was concerned that if he picked it up before it had even finished ringing once, whoever was on the other end of the line would think him a fairly cheap person. That's why he normally never picked up the phone until the third ring. Even he thought it was a worthless habit. However, thinking that there isn't much meaning in waiting for just 3 rings, wouldn't waiting for 5 be alright, was very much reality. Okay. His mind filled with such trifling thoughts, he picked up the phone after the third ring had finished, its reverb dampened by its action. Yes? Hello? Hello? Assuming this is the dad. He knew that sometimes, due to a malfunction, the switchboard, calls didn't connect well. Operation, I guess. At those times, it was best to hang up and let the person on the other end call again. Thinking that, the moment he began to hang up the phone, he sensed that he was definitely connected to Rawl. He felt the presence of the person on the other end of the line, keeping silent. Hello? There was no way they didn't hear his question. So it's the kidnapper then. But a mysterious girl connected to it? If it's connected to Hinamizawa Dam product, then maybe it's more connected to Mion or Shion then, I guess? There was no way they didn't hear his question. What was the meaning of this? It wasn't like he didn't know that people could use silent calls to harass others. However, he never received a call like that until today. Maybe he was just lucky before, but he didn't believe that he would receive such a call on this phone. There were no direct calls to or from this line. Everything had to go through an operator. Therefore, there was absolutely no way the call would be connected unless it was verified there was somebody else on the other end of the line. That's why he didn't understand how to deal with a silent call, instead settled into confusion. I don't know who you are, but if you have nothing to say, I'm going to hang up. Please call again some other time. Intending that to be a parting line, he made to slam down the receiver. It was at that moment the person at the end of the line spoke for the first time. You didn't say who you were, so I was anxious. If you're not Minister Inukai, please hang up that right away. He couldn't help but be surprised at the extremely strange voice in the end of the line. Was there a human alive who could speak with this hoarse and metallic voice? Hoarse and metallic? How did a metallic voice even sound? No, this was a voice he had heard somewhere before. That was the kind of voice that was in these lowbrow documentaries they used when they wanted to hide the identity of the speaker, wasn't it? Oh, okay. The voice he was hearing of the line was exactly like that, just trying to put so much strain in your voice and not sound like anyone recognizable. Okay. Who are you? As I said, there's not what I want to ask. Are you Minister Inukai? He, Inukai, hesitated to answer. Unable to discern the intent of the suspicious phone call, he had a vague feeling that something was off. He thought about hanging up the phone and asking the operator who initiated the call. However, he forced himself to restrain the urge, and for the time being, chose to state his name and listen. That's right. This is Inukai. I said my name, now you say yours. My name doesn't matter. First of all, let's begin by thinking about the situation you're in right now. Right now, you're sitting in your chair talking on the phone, yes? Then why don't you try opening the lower drawer to your right? The lowest drawer to the right of the minister's chair. How do you know what is inside his house? That's worse. There's a lock on it. Not enough to function as a safe, but nevertheless, it was a drawer that contained some valuable things. Oh. That's why Inukai thought that the person wanted some of the important information contained within that drawer. Sorry, I don't have any intent of opening that. I have no reason to follow orders from somebody who won't even give me his name. If you don't open that drawer, I'll hang up the phone. You will most likely end up regretting that. Why don't you think about opening that drawer first? Inukai didn't like following orders from the suspicious person one bit. However, he was concerned about what the man said about regretting it, so he decided to open the drawer. He took a small key kept stowed in his wallet and locked the drawer. He said stop right before he opened it. What if there was a bomb inside, and it would explode if the drawer was opened? A delusion took hold of him. He quelled that instinct and opened it. Oh god, there's something bad in there, actually. Did you do it? The thing that's in there. Do you know what it is? This is... What is the meaning of this? Hey! I don't think there's any need for me to explain, is there? I'll give you some time, so please think about it a little. I'll contact you again later. Now then, pardon me. Hey! Wait! Hello? Hello? The call had already ended. What's in there? That would not change no matter how much he yelled at it. Even still, Inukai, without realizing that, continued yelling to the receiver for a while. The drawer was still open. On top of the folders crammed to the drawer, it lay there. Is it a body part? Toshiki Inukai. Written in plain lettering on a grade schooler's name tag. Just lying there. Oh. Enshrined there, completely out of place, as if it were cowering. Why break into the house, lockpick the drawer open, and leave it in there? This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual personal organization is entirely coincidental. Okay. So the kidnapping, like, that I guess, the narrator at the very beginning is mentioning is all going to be about this, then? Okay, we're getting a lot of suddenly new characters out of nowhere. Oh boy. Do you remember, Yuki? This picture. This is where I first proposed to you. That brief moment before you nodded back. You probably wouldn't know just how much it seemed like an eternity to me. Yes, I would have never thought that amount of time would feel like an eternity. Compared to how long I had to wait for you to propose to me, it was... the moment I met you until today. Compared to the time I spent since I was born, it might only be a brief period, but they're definitely precious. Beautiful days that deserve to be called an eternity. That time continues even now. From now on. I wonder if it'll be a boy. Or maybe a girl. Either one is fine. Boy or girl. Either way, it's living proof that we love each other. It's a boy. We'll name it after you. Mamoru. Oh, okay. If it's a girl, we'll put the Yuki for my name in hers. Thinking about names is so fun in the end, we still haven't decided yet. There's still time to puzzle over it, huh? Not that long of a time, actually. You see, Yuki, there's something I have to apologize for today. It's about your job. Quit. Sorry. Looks like an annoying bit of work has come up. In the worst case, I might not be able to be there for the delivery. It's fine. A very important job. What you do protects the way we live. Compared to you, it's nothing. Please, go ahead. When you return, I'll be waiting here with our child. Thank you. Also, I'm sorry. Please, don't apologize. If you feel guilty about it, then you can just atone. If I atone that much, no matter how much money I have, it won't be enough. It's a joke. Now, go on. Huh. Did they read a letter or something, or? As I left the room, I bumped into an elderly man. It was Yuki's father. Oh, okay then. In other words, my father-in-law. There's a lot of information taken all at once then. Father? I didn't want to intrude, so I wait in the hall. Okay. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I heard. Go. Yuki's that kind of girl. No matter what happens, she doesn't want to hold you back. I've forced Yuki to give up on so many things. Put her through this during childbirth, such an important time of her life. I'm ashamed. If you really feel that way, when you're done with your own work, make some time for Yuki. She'll be happier with that than you passing your work off on someone else. Thank you. I know full well you do important work. Be proud of what you do. Yuki is looking forward to your triumphant return. Yes. Huh. I jumped into the taxi that was waiting outside. Compared to the time when I first got here, numbers in the fare meter had grown considerably. It seemed the modest time Yuki and I had spent together wasn't so modest in an objective point of view. Sorry to keep you waiting. Go ahead. No worries. Well then, off we go. The taxi jerked as it changed gears to accelerate, soon burying the hospital my wife was in behind a throng of buildings. If it was to end up as a really troublesome ordeal, I probably wouldn't be returning for quite some time. To call a rookie like me, on top of that, one who's off duty, it seemed that the section chief was calling for all hands on deck. The veteran upper brass gathering on an emergency basis happened occasionally. This is the first time, though, I experienced everybody gathering together like this. And that's how you met Oishi? Whatever was happening, there was no doubt it was going to be something novel. Right when my wife was ready to give birth. If I wanted to spend the time to curse my misfortunes, I'd be here all day. Even the verdant ginkgo trees lining the street that always brighten my mood seem to lack some of their usual luster. They sense your sadness. Is this the exact... Isn't this the same CG for, like, Amashian's apartment? Well, it's in the city, I guess. Is this just a Okinomiya city, I guess, or... Eventually, the government office came to view. Briefly holding my breath, I let feelings of tension course through my body once again. I had to remember the work I was doing was important, necessary, and difficult. I composed myself and sharpened my wit. Ready. A taxi stopped in front of the building. Kasumigaseki, Tokyo, Metropolitan Police Department, Public Safety Division. Chief, everyone's here. Oh my god, how many new people are we gonna face here? Kano. Akasaka-kun, could you close the blinds? The blinds are usually closed when they need to use a projector, or if the discussion was going to contain some particularly disturbing content. Okay. Now we can barely see it all. The blinds closed with a satisfying thud sound, darkening the interior of the room. Immediately, the inside of the room was completely drained of the pleasant morning atmosphere, leaving behind only this cold illumination of the fluorescent lighting. As the supervisor ensured that everyone was present, he nodded to the section chief once again. With everybody on the edge of their seats, the chief stood up solemnly and began to give his report. So is this really just like giving an outsider's look into like I guess what happened in the past around the dam project? For some reason, there's a kidnapping around then, but this is never brought up at least once. So how important is this the overall thing of it? Like, this gives a motivation to, I guess, who's really behind it all, or the kidnapping was someone about a minister though, and the name doesn't ring a bell to anyone in Hinamizawa that we learned of. So must be like I guess degrees of connection with them, maybe, or who heard of the kidnapping situation, I guess. With everybody on the edge of their seats, the chief stood up solemnly and began to give his report. Approximately 48 hours ago, the Minister of Construction's grandson, who was also the son of one of his staff leaders, is believed to have been kidnapped. Oh yeah, this is one of the. Oh yeah, this is definitely because this is this kidnapping. It was definitely from the Sonozakis. Actually, thinking about it, remembering the kidnapping and Miam bring it up, or I think it was Shion actually. No, it definitely was Shion bringing it up. I'm pretty sure. The second installment. It is believed the minister, in an effort to resolve matters amicably, chose not to report the situation to the police and plans to cede to the demands imposed upon him. You see that approximately 48 hours earlier, the Minister of Construction's grandson, who is also the son of one of the senior staff members, was kidnapped. The reason why it was phrased that way is because the person in question didn't admit it had happened. So how did this all get leaked to the police then? Based on the results of the surveillance conducted at the minister's residence, multiple suspicious phone calls from what is believed to be outside the city took place. Oh. Is it because the riots of the dam construction project like literally went that bad they started monitoring people who are close just to keep an eye on them, just to be sure of them? Just to keep them safe, I guess? Oh boy. That just shows how like how big and terrible the riots begin to get with the residents of Hinamizawa then, huh? The abducted child is said to be under treatment for some illness, but there is no trace of any hospital records or witnesses to such effect. Due to that, and various other reasons, we believe without a doubt that a kidnapping has occurred. Here, they omitted the details that brought this incident to light. If you think about it a bit, that meant that before this incident happened, the minister's residence had been under surveillance already. I won't use the word spied upon. Technically it is, but that's that doesn't have the class I guess you're looking for, I guess. Of course, there wouldn't have been court approval for this, and it would have been very hard to explain to ordinary citizens. But someone broke into the house and left the name tag in a secured locked drawer. So how did the police not see anyone go through then? However, it was quite an effective method to catch wind of incidents like this before they got worse. I'd like for you to understand that dealing with these cases before they become a problem is the job of the Public Safety Division. PSD. Why is he just following their demands instead of reporting this to the police? The fact that a minister can't even trust the police, where's the world coming to? Unless that's one of the whole things with the kidnapper's demands, I guess. It seems the group of perpetrators demonstrate that they have quite a high level of surveillance on the minister themselves when they conducted the kidnappings. Not to give the minister pause before calling the police. Yeah, if they broke into the place, but if they already knew the police were watching the house to be sure of things, then no wonder he's just not gonna talk to the police about this. We'll find out right away if you call the cops, more or less. It's possible that there's a mole close to the minister. Several of the higher-ranking members who seem to have experience with this kind of thing let out deep sighs. It's gonna be a hassle to find out who they are. The goals of the perpetrators, their demands, as well as this entire incident are, as of yet, unclear. In any case, the possibility that this may grow to threaten national interest is extremely high. If their goal was to simply have their demands met for monetary gain, that would have been nice. However, if this was some politically motivated shakeup, things would get a lot more complicated. Since we're not receiving any cooperation from the victim, that means that we're not privy to any of the details of the threats or demands, then. Due to the fact that we believe there may be a mole involved in this incident, this investigation is highly classified. Only people in this room are to know of this. Furthermore, as this case is our utmost priority, we're placing a hold on everybody's normal duties. Understood. Okay, that makes sense why why this is such a urgent call to like get away from the I need to get used to his name, Osaka. Why he had to be away from his wife then? It's just out of nowhere, and it's like this high important then. After that, the supervisor continued on, tactfully explaining our course of action. If this incident were to become public, it was possible that the minister's public political life would be over. How so? Sorry, the application of how the rest of the dominoes would fall, but in the end, support in the Diet would decline, followed by no confidence vote in a snap election. Oh, because like even the minister can't really follow the police and all that? Okay. It's literally just because the minister can't trust the police and all that, it leads to this? Okay, alright then. Domino effect, okay. And it might even expand communist influences. In other words, we wanted to handle this delicately. Kawasaki and Seiki monitor communications to the minister and the child's residences 24/7. Find out what the minister is doing now. Report anything that happens. Remaining members, investigate whatever is related to the case is assigned to your units. Focus your line of investigation on the commies, Reds, and Confeds. Okay. Don't discount the possibility of foreign involvement either. Okay. I have experienced one or two unamicable situations before. This, however, was the first time I've seen things get so hectic. Several sophisticated conversations were progressing without the involvement of a rookie like me. Didn't tend to be timid, but could not my confusion at this unfamiliar situation. And cover that. As for Akasaka-kun? Okay, Akasaka, okay. I snapped back to alertness upon hearing my name called. Yes. You investigate the environmental groups that have petitioned the minister. Among them, there's that group protesting the Hinamizawa dam project that made the papers. Make sure you investigate them thoroughly. Okay, so we're part of the people who actually finds out the truth about the Sonozaki group then. Or the Yakuza group anyway. I doubt this is the act of some citizen group. We have to eliminate every possibility we can. Understood. So those opposed to the Hinamizawa dam, it's probably best that you go to the location personally. Get some information from the local authorities. Time to go into the town and get cursed, because just by stepping inside there. Nice. They're a fairly radical organization, so the public safety division there should have them marked as well. Understood. I'll head over there. Your wife, she's almost ready to give birth, isn't she? Okay, why bring this up? I apologize for the timing of all this, but I'm counting on your cooperation. We can't take our time with this, so we just have to brute force it with our boots to the ground. Yeah, I know. My wife hates to interfere with my work with her own circumstances anyways. Sorry, thanks. Then, as for Kawasaki-kun and Seiki-kun to help support your... Okay, I didn't want to take a business trip when my wife was to give birth. So all reading down to Hinamizawa now. I guess like definitely there's some parts which I can't exactly understand since I'm not a big political person. Or like I guess the police politics and stuff like that. So it's gonna be something I don't quite understand. I'd probably be confused on if it becomes more important. Especially since they're putting a lot of emphasis on it here. Then of like we can't go into detail of, like why this would lead to the collapse of the minister, like like and the rest of the whole leadership, like crumbling and all that. I didn't want to take a business trip when my wife was about to give birth. Even if I was a little busy, as long as I was in Tokyo, I could head to the hospital right away. On assignment, though, that'd be difficult. Even so, I knew the work I was doing was important, and fully understood that I was in no position to be so selfish. I'd have to make it up to my wife for having to be away at such an important time. My wife, Yuki, would probably forgive me with a smile. The only thing she would hate doing would be holding me back. My male ego, though, at least wish she would have tried to stop me. Sorry, Yuki. I don't mind if you always complain to our child that your father couldn't come to the hospital when they were born because he was too busy with work. She's gonna put that over your head for the rest of your life. That'd be funny. The next day, I took the bullet train to Nagoya, and from there transferred to the train to Blank Prefecture. Getting to my destination by land took several hours. If I was traveling by air in that amount of time, I could probably get as far as Hong Kong. Blank Prefecture was by no means close. Oh yeah, like Keiichi's parents said they had to travel all the way to Tokyo and would be out of town for a few days. Yeah. I never sat in first class except for work. Whenever I did, the seats seemed stiff. Closing my eyes, I mentally reviewed the documents I read yesterday. The group under investigation, the Onigafuchi Guardians. Okay? Wait, is that what the Hinamizawa Dam Project, I guess, protesters are calling themselves? It's literally the OG crew. They were a group of residents opposed to the development proposed under the Hinamizawa Dam Project. The local protests were quite heated, and were getting more radicalized. Even limited to what was written in the newspapers, there was bloodshed that occurred during a clash with riot police, interference with the dam construction, too many to count. Then, midsummer, what was it? Then in June, that's when the Watakanashi Festival comes. That's when basically everything involved in the dam project gets completely halted because of that murder. Did they mention how long ago this was? I can't remember it's a flashback to this day, what month or whatever it was. Did it just say midsummer? The number of petitions, sit-ins, and direct appeals to the relevant organizations were innumerable. As an extension of that, there was also a direct appeal to the Minister of Construction the other day. This was the reason why we were investigating this group in the first place. The land that they lived on was going to be submerged, so it was no wonder they could go into a frenzy over it. Even given that, though, could they really be capable of doing something like kidnapping the Minister of Construction's grandson in order to halt the project? From my take on it, I had serious doubts. Well, then you better start believing. This kidnapping plot was extremely sophisticated, and complicated enough that it was believed there was some political backing. Well, that does line in with the Sonozaki group, the three families and all that. This wasn't something that could be pulled off by some group of local protesters, unless they're that skilled. Well, just like the chief said, the plan was to eliminate all possibilities. While I'm in the Blank Police's reference room taking my time investigating, the higher-ups in Tokyo would probably solve the case. Without my involvement entirely. If that was true, I couldn't regret being away from Tokyo when my wife was ready to give birth. This was work. There was really nothing I could do. Ding dong. The announcement that we would be arriving at destination soon snapped me back to wakefulness. Gogura Blank Prefecture, Prefectural Public Safety Division. Oh, this is a place, okay. The Onigafuchi Guardians. Yeah, they've been quite active around here. The Prefectural Public Safety Department already had the documents and a cup of tea ready and waiting for me. The short of it is they're a group of residents opposed to the dam. Really, it's probably better to say that every resident living in the land is going to be submerged as rising to action, though. Except for, the Hojo family. Or at least, the two Sadako's parents. Like the old saying, fight to the last, the determined and well-prepared lot. Be nice they drew the line just being a moderate residential organization. The stack of papers they had prepared for me in the document room was by no means thin. At first, they were pretty much your average citizens' initiative, but ever since the incident with the riot police, they've really started to heat up. Yeah, what was it? Yeah, they meant, I think Shia mentioned it before, that things grew more and more steadily to this point, to the kidnapping as well. Can't remember if she said anything else that happened after the kidnapping though. Really, she capstoned that as the most extreme thing I guess the town has done to try to prove their point of stop the project entirely. Ever since the incident with the riot police, they really started to heat up. Now they get a violent mentality, on top of growing increasingly radical. Actually, thinking about it, if this whole dam project was the thing that, caused everyone, even like, what was it, Mion's grandmother to, like, do the whole thing of, like, raising the kids, like, group all together and all that. Like, wow, everyone, like, really grouped together, like, that quickly from all them, the threat to the town, then that quickly. Wow. Huh. There's no getting around how all-encompassing it was. Hmm. Violent organizations usually indicate ones that enforce their own ideology without regards to the democratic process. Hmm. So it's really just an ideological thing then here? Breaking that down, many of those organizations held extreme left revolutionary ideologies. Yet we're going straight into politics, and I don't know anything about this. This is gonna be fun. Considering that, I couldn't help but be surprised that a citizens group would end up going this far. Radical citizens movements happen occasionally. It seemed, however, this group was nothing as trifling as that. It's the power of the three families altogether. No, it's just a Sonozaki group, I think. It seemed that I would have to reconsider exactly what the Onigafuchi Guardians was, the OGs. The Guardians demand, in other words, the withdrawal of the dam project. How far would they go to have the demand met? The kidnapping of the minister's grandson was classified. That meant, of course, I couldn't tell the blank prefectural department about it either. Oh, that's how. Wait, so that means, like, she hadn't, like, heard of it from, from the inside, okay. I was told of it, like, I guess years afterwards from, like, maybe, like, someone in the family, I guess. As you know, there were arrests after last week's confrontation with Minister Inukai. There's enough reason to believe they could use illegal means to assert their demands. I skimmed over the list of the criminal records related to the Onigafuchi Guardians recorded in the documents. The contents were all violent, not giving me the barest hint of a feeling that these people were trying to uphold the law. Could you give me a basic rundown of the types of illegal activities the Onigafuchi Guardians are engaging in? The chief opened up a manila envelope, fished out several unorganized sheets of paper, and spread them on the desk. It seems that raids on the construction site are the most common. At first, they were committing relatively petty crimes like cutting power cords, jamming locks, and breaking office windows by throwing rocks. Okay, so all of it's mostly focused on the construction site itself, and this is definitely like the, I guess, whatever was first made the dam construction project, right? Like this gated off thing, the large, staircase leading up to that, like an overpass almost? Is that actually what remains of the place? There were cranes, like, nearby where Keiichi, like, ran and got choked out. Those two men for some reason. So this is just the remnants of it? I guess barbed wire used to be in the gate fence there with those posts are on top of it, the gate. It's just removed now. Of course, what really happened first are things like demonstrations, sit-ins, and distribution of pamphlets. Lively but democratic forms of protests. I can't remember if I brought it up then, but, like, I know that was the whole thing of, like, there's the whole thing. I remember seeing a few videos, I guess, of what little I learned about trying to figure out about politics. About how to figure out what kind of protest you do, was peaceful or more violent. But it's mostly just which will get your point across even more. Because sometimes even peaceful protests won't help at your case at all. Even if you, like, try to be completely pacifistic the entire time, that's not gonna help at all. So violent protests, like, how to get your point across to make a change. Indie Window Studios made a good video on that. I'll probably link it in if I can remember what the name is later on, just put in the description. It's a really good video. Of course, what really happened first were things like demonstrations, sit-ins, and distribution of pamphlets. Lively but democratic forms of protests. However, then the demonstrators and police clashed, which started a riot, leading to numerous injuries and arrests. It was from then on that the Onigafuchi Guardians, like their name implies, began to take a more demonic form of resistance. If the raids were frequent, didn't the local police up their patrols? Well, of course they were on full alert, but they're up against locals, There wasn't much the police could do if they were sneaking around in the cover of darkness. You might as well label the entire map of Hinamizawa village around the dam construction site enemy territory. Yeah. No matter how alert the police were, the locals would just show them exactly how easy it was to sneak around. Especially those police outside of Hinamizawa village that have fun trying to impede on their turf and to like police exactly an area they know more about than you front to back. Have fun with that. Actually, it was under the police up security that the protesters started getting ever more extreme, as though they were being provoked. Yeah, because like from the sound of it, you're upping police security and like it's making it shown the police like are seen to be backing the dam construction project almost a bit. See here? Can you tell things started to heat up? An office on fire. The destruction of heavy construction equipment. Destruction? They couldn't have used explosives. No way. You see, they crammed the gas tanks full of sugar cubes. Yep, Shion brought that up as well. If they do that, it fouls the engines. Even Japan, it's in there have been people doing that to their vehicles of occupying forces right after the war. Compared to misdemeanors like breaking windows, it's extremely violent and aggressive. After being toyed around with to an extent, the local police have completely lost face. That arson was a bit much. After that, the local police drastically increased the number of personnel they had stationed there around the clock. The raids in the construction site quieted down a bit after that. He used the words quieted down, but that was still smack dab in the middle of the list of crimes. We're not even a quarter way down the page. See, after that, they found that attacking the site had become difficult. They started resorting to personal attacks. The first people targeted were the construction workers. After that, there was silence. What was being described to me was a guerrilla war fought in the jungle. Threats and violence against the workers. Harsh words and harsher rocks were thrown. There's quite a list of accusations here. There's not a whole lot of convictions. Of course not. First of all, there's no witnesses. On top of that, even if we identify the perpetrators, they have alibis coming out of the woodwork. Huh? What do you mean by that? Oh, people are lying to give them alibis, and they can't really arrest them because of that, even though they can't prove the others are lying? Oh my, their fabrication has so many alibis, and they can't really prove against it. Okay. Take, for example, you're walking around Hinamizawa, when a certain man stabs you with a knife. You remember the person clearly and even know his name and address. How the knife doesn't have any fingerprints on it. There's no other physical evidence. Well, you think this would be a run-of-the-mill case of assault, wouldn't you? So then if there's no evidence for it, and it's literally just your testimony against many of the people who are advocating and vouching for the person who assaulted you, then the police or whoever's in power would have to take whoever the majority side then. Majority versus minority thing again. In Hinamizawa, though, it's a perfect crime. Yeah, because everyone protects each other. It's that whole thing. Everybody is. The entire village. They're all in on it. To protect the man who was the perpetrator, they get their story straight and prepare an alibi. To that end, they'll probably even forge some evidence. Yeah. There's nothing they can do but put them on trial. On top of that, of there not being any material evidence, though, people testify one after another to cover his side of the story. And a prosecutor would hesitate to file charges. I'm not sure about murder, but if it's something like the opening a gash in somebody's forehead with a thrown rock, leaving a bruise to hitting someone, even if you could single the suspect, there's not enough reasonable doubt to not convict. Yeah. Every case is without a doubt perpetrated by someone in Hinamizawa, but they can't identify who. And if they could figure out who it is, they're unable to obtain enough circumstantial evidence through due process. Yeah. That's the thing of, like, sometimes if you have every, like, there's even sometimes where, like, evidence doesn't even work as well because, like, stuff like this, so, The villagers were all extremely well informed about this, and so the malicious, vicious, and tenacious personal attacks continued. Especially if, like, the Sonozaki group, like, definitely, like, helped and, like, you know, like, led people on to, like, explain that this plan to everyone. That means pretty much everyone's perfect at this. And actually thinking about it, that means everyone, including children, know how to do this too. That makes things worse of what happened in the festival and the, oh yeah, sure, someone's cursed even now. Honestly. makes it even worse. Because now everyone can. Everyone can, like, pretty much, like, forge evidence or testify and, like, have a good, reasonable plan. And I would actually make them, the club activities, like, sort of a continuation of that in some level. Yeah. The victims can't have been okay with that, right? Couldn't they have filed for an appeal? Well, you see about that. Everybody in the inquest committee didn't want to get involved with something so troublesome. Oh yeah, have fun getting through like a literal rivalry between opposing town, like an entire town and the government. Have fun with that. They won't stick their nose into anything related to Hinamizawa, especially if there's a whole, I guess like sort of outsider mentality as well with them. I guess the folkloric history of Hinamizawa, then with the rest of Japan. Then the sound of it. Oh boy. The inquest committees comprise a random selection of local residents. In the event the prosecutor fails to get a conviction, they have the power to order a retrial. The system designed to assert the will of the people and the actions of expert prosecutors in the legal world. This could be something to, like, actually try to, I guess, internalize, because I'm still used to, I guess, the whole thing of, like, don't know if, like, like, double jeopardy and that stuff, like, you know, the thing. I don't take that, like, in complete grain of salt of, like, if someone is proven innocent of something, they can't be tried for it again, that type deal. I can't exactly put that into this whole thing here. I'll do the grain of salt then. In order that the prosecution fails to get a conviction, they have a power to order a retrial. Designed to assert the will of the people and the actions of expert prosecutors in the legal world. In this case, however, being composed of local residents has backfired. They don't want to get involved. Why is that? Are the people, like, actually residents of the place too, or something? Or how do I explain this? You could say they're afraid. This is a little special there. Okay, so the outsider mentality thing again of all that, the demonic rituals and all that. Special is an outcast community. No, it's a little different from that. Well, just think of it as them being afraid. It's a little hard to explain it just now. Oh, right. There's an easier way, actually. Wiping his forehead with a handkerchief, he opened a file labeled as a list of members of the Onigafuchi Guardians. The power of the Onigafuchi Guardians, as see here, is that they count many people among their members who are influential in neighboring areas. Huh. Could you take a look at this? I looked. What I saw startled me. Prefectural and municipal assembly members, staff members of the Chamber of Commerce, an executive of a business association. So it's like if it's literally just pointing out, like, it's Hinamizawa versus the government. He has members of the government involved with siding with Hinamizawa, so they can't exactly go against them too harshly or, like, get that kind of trouble, because it sounds like there's people in the government as well trying to side with them too and using everything they can to, like, to make sure they win. So it's that whole thing. It's just a lot of legal paperwork just to file through and make through. Literally just another form of extended protesting, I'm assuming. An executive of a town council association and a PTA liaison. There were more than a few people with a lot of say, both locally and in neighboring regions. Around here, you could pretty much expect your actions to be observed by those against the dam project. If you say something in support, who knows how it'll work out to your disadvantage. In any case, every town in this area is being held by the throat by somebody from Hinamizawa. The list of Inquisition Committee members is undisclosed, isn't it? There has to be some measures in place to make sure they avoid retribution, no? Well, if it is undisclosed, so their privacy is assured, but the person in charge of that is from the Okinomiya Municipal Office. The words are local. While you might expect some professional confidentiality, you can't know how everybody is connected. People from Hinamizawa here have a lot of tight bonds in that regard. Yeah, okay, so if you want to get through this, after being told this, you had to, like, make sure you had to keep a very tight zipper lip on everything that's going through your mind. When you consider the obligations and duties people have to the region, the web of information thereby formed is nothing to scoff at. And if the sounds of it, they get closer ties to everyone in neighboring areas, the web will probably grow even bigger and bigger as the years pass, especially everyone unified here. Plus, maybe it's just me of like what patterns I've seen people make of like other like anime and that kind of shows like the whole thing of like grouping together through strong adversity and stuff like that. Hmm. Or like in some cases like you make if you finally make an allyship with your enemy, your bonds are tighter because you managed to get over, I guess, the thing that made you hate each other. That whole thing. Remember, like, that was a common thing in anime and just all that. I wonder if that ties into, like, normal personnel, but, like, in person, but, like, I'll take that again with a grain of salt. Like, culturally speaking. It's not uncommon for housewives in a neighborhood to know which kid from which house is what grade in which school, what subjects they're good at, and what vegetables they hate, among other things. It continues on forever. Literally everyone in town knows. You can't trust anything or anyone and anything. And people are that tight together, and there's like someone who's an outsider and all that, or like someone who feels like they're outsourcing from the group, they can easily say one thing or another and resort to bad stuff. And since the damn product is fresh in everyone's mind, they use underhanded tactics sometimes. That kind of probably lead people to like continue those underhand tactics even the present day. Huh. So far, that actually is enlightening. Yeah, this is mostly just an exposition point about the kidnapping right now, currently. Just leading into it. We still haven't got to any choice yet either. Wonder how that's gonna be shaken up then, huh? You see, there's a Yakuza organization here with strong ties at Hinamizawa and the surrounding area. It seems that they're providing full support in these recent incidents. They seem to be proving most effective. Gangsters? Siding together with the residents opposed to the construction of the dam? It's a little hard to see what their common interest is. It's not that difficult at all. You see, actually, one of the lieutenants of that gang is actually originally from Hinamizawa. That explains everything. He was adopted into a rather influential family in the village. And then just a debt of gratitude. Exactly what was this Hinamizawa? Well, I mean, it's a town with Hinamizawa in syllables. I had thought it was some desolate rustic village, but for some reason they exert a strong influence in the surrounding areas, had a strong sense of unity. They would protect their village by any means necessary, even if that meant resorting to violence. The chief had said that they were afraid because there were numerous influential people living there, but somehow, I got the feeling they were afraid of the village itself. There's something clearly different from what I read in the documents in Tokyo. This was no simple residential protest against the dam. For some reason, an uneasy feeling began to nestle itself at the back of my mind. I chose the most basic way to ask my question. In other words, I directly asked what I wanted to know. Chief? This is just a hypothetical situation, but... This Onigafuchi Guardians. In order to hold the dam project, do you think they could, say, threaten someone really important to accomplish that? The chief replied immediately, yes! It's possible. Truth be told, they already gone to municipal and prefectural offices, as well as local offices of the Ministry of Construction, and done things that could be construed as intimidation. Several of the workers' families have also reported that they've been being followed around by some suspicious people. Yay, stalking! Tell us your secrets, gunpoint. Knife point. Small knife point. The knife can't be longer than 7 inches. Well, that would make sense. To halt progress in the dam, they raided the construction site, destroying heavy machinery and lighting the construction office on fire. If they didn't have any qualms about doing that, threats and violence against people related to the dam would probably be no problem. But that was it. Even your everyday hoodlum could use threats and violence. However, this time it was the kidnapping of the minister's grandson, that abnormally high-level crime. The small misdemeanor crimes of the past, the effort, and just all the practice that went into it, managed to level up to a high-level crime. Not only was pulling out the kidnapping difficult in the first place, but so was maneuvering to have the minister surrender to their demands immediately. There's no way this was the work of amateurs. Yeah, so it was a bunch of people who can break in through a house, leave that drawer there, and like leave that there to like make a threat to the minister directly that even the police won't help. literally just by demonstrating they get past security and, like, non-stop police detection. Because they're used to it. Oh my god. Do these people have the power to enact this large of a crime? That was the heart of the matter. Was the Onigafuchi Guardians an organization capable of pulling this off? In order to ask that question, once again, I asked directly. I chose the most basic method. Again, hypothetically, do you think they could kidnap a relative of someone of political importance? There's no way they could pull off something that big. That was the answer I was most hopeful for. If it was that answer, my work was as good as halfway done. I might be able to get back in time for my wife to give birth. That was how it was supposed to be here. The chief, without a hint of hesitation, replied, "They just might." There's no telling how far they go. Sorry, Yuki. So my work wouldn't end so simply after all. And you're gonna be here and miss your just miss your childbirth, okay. Oh, Akasaka-kun. Good work. How's the information gathering in your assigned region? It's coming along. Seems I'll be able to meet with their local public safety department, so I'm planning on heading out that way. How's the investigation in Tokyo going? The others are progressing along, but the number of groups we had to investigate are countless. Time isn't really a luxury here. There were no new developments this time. No matter how suspicious the Onigafuchi Guardians were, if they solved the case in Tokyo, my job was done. It looked like my wishful thinking wouldn't come to pass. How unlucky you were given the assignment to the people who actually caused the event in the first place. How unlucky. Hang up the phone, and let my gaze drift outside the window to the valley of unfamiliar buildings. Akasaka-san? My car you can borrow just returned. I'll take you to it, so follow me. Ah, thank you. He showed me the elevator to the underground parking lot where a battered sedan was waiting for me. That the steering wheel kept drifting to the left was a little concerning, but it would be enough to get me around for a while. Wheeze! Motion blur. My destination was Shishibone City, Blank Prefecture, an area under the control of the Onigafuchi Guardians. The Okinomiya police station was right in the front lines. Ooh. Alright then. You get tips here as well, or? Okinomiya Blank Prefecture, Okinomiya Police Station. The presentation is also a bit different as well. Huh. I can't remember now. Was the library like something... Oh, no, it was a bit different. Never mind. Just that whole thing was a bit different. My first thought, like, it looks something similar to, like, maybe the library. It was definitely different. And it does look similar to the, I guess, nurse clinic, you know, the Irie clinic, which, again, he owns the place, and he's the highest person there. So it makes sense that Coach has something to do with what's happening current day. Whether he's manipulating any of the kids or anything like that. And since he's technically already is trying to manipulate other people, like, you know, manipulating kids and all that to, like, get through his own tasks or whatever like that, it kind of makes sense. Whether you think him along the lines of he's actually, like, you know, thinking of like, the best intentions or not. Everyone is capable of it. Everyone. Shishibone City was, as far as provincial cities went, rather behind the times. Okinomiya, where such in the mountains, was even more remote. With little change between the seasons, all that was left was the tepid passage of time, made for a rather drab town. There were no tourist attractions or local delicacies. Not even a strong regional industry. It was simply dull. Just looking at the monotonous and peaceful townscape, it was hard to catch a glimpse of the radical resistance of the Onigafuchi Guardians. The atmosphere of boredom didn't hint at the Okinomiya police station being in the front lines of the Dan conflict, nor the numerous incidents that I heard about at the prefectural headquarters. Good morning. Are you here to pay a fine? No, I'm appointed with Hondeya-san from the Public Safety Division. Please tell me it's Okasaka. Ah, my apologies. Please wait a minute. The clerk, who thought I was here for a parking violation at first glance. Wow, you look like a hooligan in that outfit, do you? After fumbling with the unfamiliar extension number, Told the person in the line they had a visitor. They don't get a lot of traffic in these here parts then. Welcome! Welcome! Akasaka-san, was it? It must have been tiring traveling out this way. Sorry, we have to do this here. I tried to reserve a reception room, you see. But the counselor suddenly woke up and chased me out. I would hesitate to call where we were a conference room, as it was very small and cluttered. This break looks pretty neat and tidy and all that. Just a lamp, a clipboard, 2 chairs, and a table. It's nice. It's quaint. The cramped space is packed with lockers. I had the impression that it was more of a change room that doubled as one for smoking. Listening to his crude chortles, I didn't get much of a feeling that Hondeya, who was head of the local public safety division, was much of an intellectual. But I knew that, in exchange, we had both experience and absolute confidence in his instincts. I apologize for interrupting you during such a busy time. I'm Akasaka, from the Metropolitan Police Department. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Hondeya, from the Public Safety Division. Nice to meet you. I was threatened by a Sankai from the Prefectural Gangbusters to be generous with my cooperation. Gangbusters? I mean the Prefectural Crime Prevention Division. Oh, you see, we're treating the Onigafuchi Guardians as an extension of the local Yakuza. Oh my god, that's how extreme they get. You have to be a newbie if you think they were just a residential protest group. They said the prefectural office, too, that the Onigafuchi Guardians was linked to the local mob. If I recall correctly, the adopted son of somebody influential was a lieutenant in that gang. It's the other way around, actually. The complete opposite. The Yakuza put up the protest group as a front to justify their actions. Just think of it like that. Ah. Completely the other way around. Hondeya was just about rolling with laughter. Okay. This is slightly different than the info given to me in the prefectural office, but somebody embedded locally would be more knowledgeable, of course. While we were talking, occasionally some people who seemed to be detectives would come up and change. One of these individuals, noticing Hondeya's guffaws, came up to us. Oh, hey! Well, it makes sense, okay. Oh, that's how you two met, okay, then. Oh boy, does that mean... Well, My first thought was partners, but you only met him once or twice, and not over, like, a longer than 3 period. No, actually, are you two gonna be partners, then? Okay, oh boy, we're gonna be... Oh, actually be an interesting way to, like, see how Oishi normally acts with someone who's, like, more, cooperative, I guess. Interesting way to, I guess, get a read on his personality, then. That's actually an interesting way to think about it, okay. I was wondering what you guys were talking about. Oh, Kuro-chan! Perfect timing, why don't you join us? This here is Inspector Akasaka. Came all the way from Tokyo Police Department. It was a day-long drive. An inspector? I'm still a rookie. My name is Akasaka, pleased to meet you. Look, you're still an inspector by name, so take it. Take it. Take all the respect you can get. Must be nice to be so fresh-faced. Did they hire you this year? Every time you smile like that, it just feels so wrong, honestly. I'm sorry, it just feels wrong. I couldn't help but think I was being ridiculed, so I only responded with a forced smile. I could tell this new person was like Hondeya, the type who had confidence in their instincts and experience. That's because they had years to work on it. I really didn't like those types of people. Okay, have fun. Do you feel that way about everyone who has more experience and everything like that? You feel bad. You don't like people who actually, like, know what they're actually talking about? I see how it is. Let me introduce you, Akasaka-san. This is Oishi-kun from our investigative department. Regarding the S-file you're asking about, he's familiar with it. S-file? Yep. Okay, we're actually, all the stuff we learned about Slave from the tips, we're, like, learning straight up in the main story for this here. S-file? Wait, what? Okay, we're back to this? Okay. Also, I did like that music back then. That just came out of nowhere. It was chill. S for Sonozaki. Something is an S-file means it's something to do with the Sonozaki family. It's something of a code name. Sonozaki? Come think of it, I remember when I was pouring over the documents at the headquarters, there were quite a few people with the last name Sonozaki popping up. If I remember right, There's a Sonozaki who is one of the executives of the Onikafuchi Guardians. I'm pretty sure they're the treasurer. The two of them were surprised and rattled off what post that Sonozaki held. For a moment, both of them erupted into laughter. What? Sorry that I have photographic memory now, okay? Akasaka-san, was it? You're quite the studious one. Could it be you memorized all the central figures in the Alliance? I wouldn't say memorize exactly. I've at least read the list of Onikafuchi Guardians executives. And who were the president and vice president? The president is the mayor Hinamizawa, Kichiro Kimiyoshi. The vice president is the priest of the local shrine, Furude. Ah. The treasurer is Oryo Sonozaki, the auditor is Makino. I like how you didn't even give a name for the priest of the shrine, though. We're never going to learn Rika's parents' names, okay. The liaison is Yoshirose Kimiyoshi. The PR head is Sadeo Sonozaki. Akasaka-san, you're pretty good. The pay sucks, but you want to work here? You're just the type we're looking for. By the way, Sadeo Sonozaki is the head of the youth department. So close, the head of public relations is actually Tadataka Sonozaki. Feeling I wasn't being commented at all, I started settling into an uncomfortable mood. Wow, nice. He memorized everything, and you're commenting for up that I immediately insult them. You didn't get everything 100% right. Okay. No wonder you don't like it here. Okay. However, I was becoming more and more aware that I was the weakest link in this investigation, so I just had to bear with it. Didn't mean for that feeling to show up in my face, but the crafty detectives didn't let that slip by. I didn't mean to make fun of you. I think you did. To make up for it, why don't I show you in the village? For somebody with no feel for the area like me, it would be a great help. I couldn't have asked for more. In the end, the Onikafuchi Guardians is nothing more than an alias Hinamizawa is using to deal with the outside world. I think getting to know the village would speed up your work. How about it? The residential movement, in other words, held influence over the whole region. The leader of the moon was the leader of that influence. Just like that, the thought processes in the region would become the overall personality of the movement. Just like Oishi had said, in order to learn what they were really like, this regional force behind the dam protests, getting to know the village was the quickest way. And that'd be actually probably a bit revealing to hear, to see if we ever see any, like, we see Reina, Mion, or even Rika or Sadako, like, how they technically act. Like, when they're not, like, having someone, like, to, like, I guess, put a face on for. Actually, for someone, like, they'll probably be, like, a bit more resentful towards, honestly. We got a few hints of that whenever Oishi ever appeared in Mion and Reina, I think, once or twice. Well, Reina was, was the polite, let's roundabout way of insulting instead of the situation was very, important, like, in the second installment. And Mion was just completely and utterly just showing off hatred. Can't remember if Shion, like, displayed anything like that, but she basically, from the outset, always, like, showed off, like, basically how her opinion on things went, honestly. And of course, like, Sadako, I don't think she's, like, outside the scope and, like, more victim, so I don't think she would have to put on a facade. But we've not heard a single bit about Rika, which I'm most, interested and intrigued by right now. Since she's the face of this installment, then it'll be interesting to see, then. Just like Oishi had said, in order to learn what they were really like, this regional force behind the dam protests, getting to know the village was the quickest way. If you would. You went very enthusiastically there. Nodding back without skipping a beat, Oishi laughed in satisfaction and stood up. You like laughing at everything, don't you? Whiz. If I took the information I learned in the prefectural office and from Hondeya to heart, then my position was exposed. My personal safety was at a risk. Yeah. The opponent was an extremist group that had no qualms about using threats or violence against somebody. My personal info was leaked. It wouldn't be hard to imagine that I'd be in danger, whether the job or not. Well, from the very beginning of the story, we know you're not going to get into too much danger if you survived even 2 years past what actually really happened, so you're good, buddy. You're gonna survive, unless something bad happens at the end of this story, no matter what, and you're gonna die again. Okay, my gosh. It's the protagonist curse, then, if he does die horribly by the end. It's the protagonist curse for this series. Thinking that, I felt a little nervous. These guys are quick to remember faces. If you're seen with me, they'll probably do a lot to hinder your work. This might be a little cliche, but put these on. Oishi handed me an incredibly suspicious disguise comprised of a baseball cap, sunglasses, and a mask. What kind of mask are we talking about? I don't want to get all hot and stuffy, but Oishi's warning was probably right in the money. Considering that, I put them on with appreciation. I look so suspicious that Oishi had to smile wryly. Look, I have a skin condition. How much did I tell you again? Let's see. To the part where you were talking about how these three ancient families control the village. Okay, so we're just learning what Keiichi learned partially throughout each installment so far. The Onigafuchi Guardians was the same as the village of Hinamizawa itself, meaning there was a direct correlation between being an executive in the Alliance and being a leader in the village, as Hondeya had told me a short time ago. If the village was ruled by three ancient families, that would mean the Onigafuchi Guardians was ruled by these three same families. What do the documents in the prefecture office say about the leader of the Guardians or whatnot? The documents I was using were classified. To respond to Oishi's question, it'd be a breach of security. However, most likely, this man, I judge, was more well-versed in the situation than any of the documents the prefectural police department, so I decided to answer him. The president of the Alliance is the current mayor of the village, Kichiro Kumiyoshi. Oishi, upon hearing that, let out a small chuckle. For him to ask like that, and to laugh the answer as was recorded in the documents, meant that it wasn't the case in reality. It's that on paper, but he's not really the true mayor then, from the sound of it then. Okay. So that means there's somebody... Oh, so that means that there's somebody else other than Kumiyoshi behind the scenes then, huh? Contrary to what the prefecture office thinks, or rather, what is commonly known. Old man Kumiyoshi is nothing more than a figurehead. In the first place, the post of mayor in that village is nothing more than a ceremonial. In other words, there's someone else in charge of both the Alliance and the village? Would that be the three families we just talked about? Isn't Kumiyoshi one of the three families, though? Also, excuse me. Well, I'll explain that part now. All of a sudden, the thunk, the car suddenly lurched. Brake. The paved road had given way to a gravel one. Again, just screeched Tokyo Drift. At the same time, the scenery outside the window changed. Like from the mountains to where... The Hinamizawa Dam project must be withdrawn. Oh, there's so many signs for that there, okay. Overthrow this shameless puppet of a governor. The dam will submerge the natural beauty of Hinamizawa. Protect the village from the unethical dam. Fear the wrath of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Okay. Demolish the dam. Those involved must go away. The construction office must respond. The construction office manager must negotiate with us. Signs and banners crowd the roadside. Man, that's a lot. That's actually, holy shit. That's actually a lot of interesting boards and all that, huh? If it was one or two, then like, man, maybe, but like, if there was such a variety then, oh my. Even reading the brush-scrawled words was daunting. It was as though where the road just changed was a border with a different country. You've now entered the Twilight Zone, Dooney Nanu. At that moment, I was startled by the car suddenly braking. Looking ahead, a barricade had been erected. But 5 or 6 protesters, wearing masks and helmets to hide their faces, were blocking the road, yelling at us angrily to stop. Oh boy, have fun. What is this? A checkpoint? These guys never learn. Oishi snorted as he rolled down the window and leaned out. Oh boy. Hey, you guys, you can't be blocking the road like this here. As Oishi glared at them with a malicious laugh, they visibly faltered. Clear the way. We can't get by like this. Who would have thought it was Oishi's car? That panicked thought seemed to make them lose their presence of mind. If we'd known it was your car, Detective Oishi, we wouldn't have been so rude. Detective, what happened to your usual car? Is it in for maintenance? Something like that. I just can't get used to this car they loaned me. Judging from their brief conversation, I could guess they were familiar with the license plate of the car Oishi normally used. Oh, they decided to take the rental car then. Oh my. It is white now instead of black. Like his car usually is. Huh. In other words, they knew the car belonged to the police. They would have hidden the barricade. Huh. That's actually an interesting thing to look at then. What they were doing is obviously obstruction of traffic. A blatant crime. Who's a suspicious guy? You say as you're wearing your own mask and helmets. You, could you show us your face? I don't know, show me yours first. The man glared at me menacingly. Wearing a mask and sunglasses made me look particularly dubious. Would not show my face get me into unnecessary trouble? I turned to Oishi to see what I should do. Give him a break. He's still a Shiloh rookie. We just want to make sure he wasn't anybody suspicious. Hinamizawa has been a bit of a stir as of late. Have you looked at yourselves in the mirror? That mask you're wearing is way more suspicious. The men and Oishi continue to talk like that, feigning smiles at one another. However, from the beginning to the end, I couldn't get over the feeling I was sitting on a powder keg. Well, hopefully you don't smoke, because then I'm pretty sure the bomb is going to explode on you. Has the number of trucks illegally dumping still not decreased? It's a real asshole doing it all the time. The police could understand and cooperate would really help. During the conversation, the barricade was moved, leaving a gap wide enough for a single car to get through. Oishi lightly honked the horn once, and began to roll the car forward. I could see the men's antagonistic glare as the back of the car in the rear view mirror. Alright. What was that just now? Antagonization. It's advanced protesting, even for people like wanting to enter the village. And since, like, assuming that all that kind of stuff was mostly just for I guess people besides normal like local police, that they're trying to egg people who are trying to read a situation or going inside the village, and like trying to urge them away. Maybe other construction workers and stuff like that. If they if they went underhandedly to get out of their way to get some construction workers fired or anything like that, then they'll also be trying to literally like make sure no more employees get in as well. Unless they live in the town or like, live on site, which is, oh boy. What was that just now? Blocking a public road like that. Of course it's a crime. Still, if you get worked up over that, it'll never end. Those guys, see? Claim there's an infestation of trucks illegally dumping in the village. The story goes that in order to stop that, they're holding suspicious vehicles for inspection. Illegal dumping? Well, yeah, technically that's true with all this. Rain is a Colonel Randy statue of excavation. Like, corrupt contractors just tossing industrial waste away. Their line of argument is that the police aren't going to do anything about it. They'll take matters in their own hands. Well, the industrial waste is just something they're doing by themselves anyway. By themselves? They have a pretty good strategy. See, in order to hinder construction, they spread industrial waste over by the dam site. Oh, that's actually a really good idea. Then blaming on the corrupt contractors, they start instituting these inspections. There, they stop every construction vehicle coming through and interfere with them as much as possible. So then, it's one of the methods the Onikafuchi or Guardians is using. Well, that inspection just now, the car's license plate has probably been recorded. It shouldn't get stopped from here on out. Those guys know very well to get me angry. And your first instinct when meeting Keiichi in the last installment was to shake him violently. Oh my god, holy shit. Why, though? Still, why? See, rumor is that they figure a car is related to the construction in some way, shape, or form. Not only would there be checkpoints stopping it at every turn, but they'd be throwing rocks and planting road spikes as well. I was thinking if there were road spikes, like, behind, like, the barricade planted on, I was thinking they might slash people's tires, honestly. It's best you be careful so you're not identified. If they find out you're from public safety, who knows what you'll suffer through. Oishi was acting like we were talking about something fun. But for me, it was no laughing matter. Well, you know how those crazy adults and all that little pranks and all that against people's cars and public vehicles and all that. It's all just for the sake of fun and protecting our own personal property and way of living. Almost feels like we've wandered into a civil war in the Middle East. That's a good way of putting it. It's pretty much just like what you said. Oichi turned to me with a grin and a menacing laugh. You see, this here is a war zone. The car slowed down a bit as it went down a narrow road through some farmland. Oh, here we are. Well, back through here, yay. You see that house in that forest over there? The antiquated one. Looking at where Oishi was pointing, there certainly was an old, traditionally designed house. That belongs to the mayor, Old Man Kimiyoshi. You could say it belongs to the main Kimiyoshi house as well. There's a lot of branches, but they'd be one of the three families, like branches on a tree. The three families. The ancient families that control Hinamizawa. That's right. And one of the others in the Furude family. Their house doesn't even have a single branch, as all that's left is the head priest family. Right over there, there's the shrine. He's the priest there. By the way, the guardian's office is on the grounds of that shrine. The office of the Onikafuchi Guardians. If these guys are the enemy, that would make the shrine their stronghold. Can we go look over there? The shrine is the Furude family's private property, you see. Being police, we can't step foot there without a warrant. See, they got a member of the Diet with ties to the village backing them up. Basically, being the police is strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, have fun with that. If even like a member of the Diet is helping with them, okay. Well, even when we talk about the three families, that's something from a long time ago. Way back when, those three families used to hold councils to decide things in the village. Meaning, it's different now. You got a pretty good nose. That's what I expect from an academic. The car braked to a halt with a squeal. Oh, we're outside the Sonozaki house? Ahead of where we stopped were several signs. Private property beyond. No trespassing. Beware of poisonous snakes. Danger. Turn back. Intruders will be charged an entry fee of 1 million yen. Signs are erected there with things like that written on them. The road was separated from the forest by a chain-link fence wrapped in barbed wire. This is a private property. This is as far as we can go. There's several surveillance cameras set up further in. Saying that we just got lost won't work with these guys. They're beyond here, right? The people currently controlling Hinamizawa and the Onikafuchi Guardians were neither the Kimiyoshi family nor the Furude family, but the last of the three. Yeah, beyond here is one of the three families, the Sonozaki family. They're the ones controlling Hinamizawa from the shadows. Among the list of executives according to the documents, the number of people with last names from the three families was quite high. Of course, Sonozaki was no exception. However, the top was the Kimiyoshi family. If the Kimiyoshi family seemed to be in charge, the rulers behind the scenes were the Sonozaki family. This double-layered structure implicitly told me that the village had both a light and a dark side. And we've not seen any single bit of the Kimiyoshi family through what we've learned of Keiichi's route. That's probably just because, Keiichi's, close with just Mion Sonozaki, so he definitely has, a way to get closer to the Sonozaki family more. It's the Kimiyoshi family. Is there even any kids from the Kimiyoshi family in the school in Hinamizawa right now, or? The current head of the Sonozaki family is an old lady named Oryo. She has enough clout that you could call her Empress Sonozaki. Be careful, she's no small fry. She's enough of a VIP that even the mayor of the city has to bow before her. Well, in Hinamizawa and the surrounding area, the relatives amount to a block of several thousand votes. No politician could show disrespect for that. In other words, that would make her the actual leader of the Onikafuchi Guardians, right? You got it. With those words, Oishi pulled out a well-worn cigarette box. The suspected kidnapping of the minister's grandchild and subsequent threats. Were these part of the hidden plot by the Onikafuchi Guardians in order to have the Hinamizawa Dam project cancelled? You came all the way from Tokyo to investigate this, didn't you? Huh? Yeah. That's right. Something the matter? Ah, then. Is related to the direct appeal incident with Minister Inukai. If that's the case, then public safety has them marked on the watch list? Something like that? Have you guessed that so quickly makes this easy? While exhaling out cigarette smoke, Oishi smiled broadly, like I just pulled a good one on him. Or so I thought. His smile disappeared suddenly. That's a lie, isn't it? Huh? I mean, the direct appeal putting them on a watch list. That's a lie, isn't it? Oishi knew there's no way that Tokyo HQ would dispatch an investigator over something as minor as a direct appeal. If they were to dispatch someone, it would be for a more dire reason. He had figured out as much. I thought of myself as the type of person who doesn't let things show on their face. In front of his watchful gaze, however, I felt that what I was thinking was completely laid bare. Oh my god. No, the protagonist curse is literally just being Keiichi where everyone knows what you're thinking. You're gonna die. Oishi suddenly lit another cigarette, as if waiting for me to interject during this awkward pause. I see. So this was a veteran detective's way of getting someone to spill information. But as long as I realized this, there would be nothing more. To know my mouth, I want to lose anything. And you wait here for until dawn. Okay, for till dusk. All I had to do was stare out the window and enjoy the scenery until Oishi gave up. You really are bad at hiding things, you know. Being so young and earnest isn't so bad. He smirked as he twisted out his third cigarette. I tried not to let him notice that I had yielded completely. Look, silence is the best course of action if you don't know how to completely lie into a poker face. Okay? At first, I thought I had won. At the very least, Oishi had ascertained that I was hiding something. Well, yeah. Meaning that I might have ended up marching to his tune. Just make sure you don't follow anything to his letter and, like, be sure of manipulation, anything like that, from this guy as well, including from everyone around you. Just be wary of everyone. Don't trust anyone, even the person you're partnered up with. Have fun with that. Have fun with that. Again, in the same exact situation, that's actually kind of cool. They still managed to, like, write it like that. You can't trust anyone still. Oichi started up the engine once again and began to move the car. Crashes through the gate of someone's lucky house. If you'd just been honest with me, I thought I might have been able to help you. How would you help? If the cat was out of the bag, might as well use it to catch some mice. Well, this depends on what we're talking about. I might be able to set you up with someone who's knowledgeable about the goings-on in Hinamizawa. An informant. I see, is that what you call it? Why are you interested in my case, Oishi-san? Because it's interesting? Because I definitely think something else is going on, but like... I definitely don't want to think about police, police internals, so... It just seems like the author, like, has a great grasp on this. At least I'm, or maybe just I'm, like, suspension disbelief, and, like, it sounds believable enough for what it actually is. Especially since, you know, I'm not that cultured in this. Well, I'm the same as you. Isn't our best? This is a know things? And Oichi's trying to take, like, trying to manipulate, like, for the rookie he is, honestly, which makes sense as well. Sometimes you want to, manipulate someone's, like, poke holes at their weaknesses, or literally do the opposite and put, like, I guess press their strength, or, like, just to see if there's anything wrong with it, honestly. If someone has a rock-hard defense, there must be something that upholds it, like a foundation. Then see if there's anything that there's any weaknesses in it. Just keep a good glare out, honestly. Well, I'm the same as you. Isn't our business to know things? Being able to meet with Oichi's informant was an extremely compelling opportunity. We were looking to recruit somebody familiar with the area to collaborate with for intelligence. In the end, there was no better method for finding people than asking. We were always taught, however, that the rank-and-file police were no better than monkeys. Like us, they were careless with confidential cases. We looked down on them like they'd run their mouth off in a drunken stupor. Oishi was an outlaw even amongst them, And here I was lost on whether or not I should tell him about the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Honestly, it just depends, honestly. Well, like, Oishi did give information to Keiichi to, like, get more information. And by the end, it actually worked in his favor, but that's probably because he had more experience to manipulate a little kid and also just know that, he probably wouldn't get that slap on the wrist of, like, kid finding out that stuff unless he, like, starts putting it all around. Especially he says had an understanding of Keiichi's situation and can manipulate him easily. Which is probably the reason why he was so incredibly nice to him. This informant, exactly how knowledgeable are they about the Onigafuchi Guardians? You're from public safety, you know, wouldn't you? Something like that is something I can't just tell you. Protect your sources. That was the first principle dealing with confidential information. Yes, and why is Oishi trying to breach it? In that regard, it seemed that Oishi wasn't one of those monkeys. Should I trust him, ask for his help, or not? It's just that you work for the feds and I work for the prefecture. I don't think their jobs are that different. I think I can be of help. However, I had trouble believing that this crafty old man would simply help me just like he claimed. Yeah, from the sound of it, honestly. Now, how should I go about this? I find it hard to believe that someone of your standing would help me out without strings attached. Well, it's not like I'm completely without an ulterior motive. As I recall, you guys have space in your budget allocated to pay informants, right? Then you don't need to submit a receipt for. Just a little bit of that would be the cost of meeting with the informant. In other words, give the compensation and earmark the informant to you first? Well, it helps the details of this deal are so clear-cut. He certainly wants something else for being able to brazenly state his ulterior motive like this. That means he's another ulterior motive right underneath it. Rather than him doing this out of kindness of his heart, everything was a lot clearer if he was being compensated for this deal. Okay, bribery. I felt that he was a type of man who was good at these backroom dealings. Yay. Oh, don't misunderstand me, please. It's not me who needs the money. It's the informant, okay? Well, in regards to payment, I'll be handling the money. When do you want it? Right now would be good. You don't have it on you. Tomorrow works as well. I pulled out a wallet that was different from my personal one. The price is pretty much fixed depending on what kind of information I was paying for. In this case, the payment was up front. Also considering the fact I didn't know what kind of info I'd get, I shouldn't pay too much. Well, it's just that. Oichi suddenly scratched out his hand and tightly grasped the contents of the wallet. Okay. Does like this, it's best you not be so stingy. It's alright, won't go to waste. That sounds like someone who wants to steal all of it would say. I understand. I won't be stingy. And what kind of information are you looking for? Depending on what you want, how we approach this will probably change. You swear you won't spread this information to anyone else, Oichi-san. I can't swear as much. Okay, this deal's off. Yank the wallet back. I'm the same as you. I can't withhold information obtained during the course of my duties. I got it, I swear. Nothing here gets anywhere else. On top of that, thanks to you, I can pay back what I owe from my mahjong debts. My gosh. My god. In any case, I won't break a promise that involves money. I was still unsure if I should trust him until the very last moment. But in the end, I broke down. Worst choice ever. I thought you get a choice right there. Maybe we only get choices like the later half. Huh. Oishi wasn't the type of guy I could trust 100%, but there was no mistaking he had access to underground information networks. In order to accomplish my mission swiftly, I need his cooperation. And just the fact your wife is like in the hospital for childbirth, that's probably accelerating this decision too much as well. Oh boy. I set my resolve. Investigating whether or not the Onigafuchi Guardians related to a certain incident. Certain incident? That's a possibility the Minister of Construction, Inukai, is being coerced by someone. Then there's a possibility, it's kind of a roundabout way of putting it. It appears there's a mole close to the Minister, and due to the mole, the Minister had been monitored quite thoroughly, and was seemingly forced to cede to their threats right away. Okay, we're not bringing up the kidnapping at all, just bring up the things surrounding it, okay. None of this was reported to us or the police. I see. That's why you're saying there's only a possibility he's being coerced. In that case, isn't it a little strange? The minister didn't report this to anybody. How did you guys know about this incident? If we didn't spy on the minister's private life, we would have never found out. I don't think we need to provide an explanation to the informant, so I'm omitting it. Oishi had apparently caught on, and quietly chuckled when I refused to explain. I see. There's a spy close to the minister, so public safety made it a highly classified investigation. That certainly isn't a very amicable story, is it? If this matter became public, not only would this affect the minister's political career, but the possibility of there being a shift in the political landscape is extremely high. Yeah, possibly. I can't say anything more than that, though. If the perpetrator's aim is indeed that, this could develop in a very grave situation. Oh boy. Both sway the political landscape to get to their own satisfaction as soon as I could group to make sure the damn project happens, and also so they get more power. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, with the government having development projects all over the country, they butted heads with quite a few people. Won't take much wrongdoing for the left-wing parties to suddenly garner more support. We're currently investigating what demands are being forced on the minister. But at least we have a good idea of how he's being threatened. Wow. Okay, we're bringing it up anyway. Okay, then. The minister's grandson was kidnapped. They're denying it, but judging from when he was last seen, it's believed it's already been over 72 hours since the kidnapping. So, 3 days. If they were just after the ransom money, this would have been settled by now. It may be this isn't for monetary gain. The possibility they're forcing the minister to do something politically is extremely high. That's something we can't just consent to. So then the Onigafuchi Guardians were listed as the possible perpetrators. Yeah. That is correct. Kidnap the minister's grandson and demand the cancellation of the dam project. What do you think, Ochi-san? From your point of view, you think that's possible? Ochi seemed to ponder the idea for a while. The section chief of the regional office had responded immediately with, "It's possible." However, Oishi, who was this well informed of the matter, was hemming and hawing. Finally, just a little bit, he said something that was just a bit strange. This was before the Meijing era, you see. Oh, we're getting a history lesson. Nice. This area wasn't named Hinamizawa village back then. It was called Onigafuchi. That's where they got the name from, Onigafuchi, yeah. This is just what I heard from my mother. The subject was so completely and suddenly unrelated to the subject of the kidnapping of the minister's grandson that I was taken slightly aback. Onigafuchi? Oh, so that's why they called the Onigafuchi Guardians. You see, the village of Onigafuchi was said to be inhabited by demons that devoured humans. Even now, it's believed that the blood of these demons partially courses through the veins of the villagers. Demons that devour humans? Oh, what are you saying? It's information. I got a lot from you just now. He's giving it back in turn. Like, that's probably the reason why Onigafuchi is using the name. What's inside the visual and symbolism of demons. Like, showing, like, just eating humans. They're trying to incite that imagery, so, like, the dam construction, everyone, like, working against Hinamizawa would have the image in their brains of that's who you're facing off against. Even subconsciously. It's information. I got a lot from you just now. A little too much. In exchange, I'm giving you a little freebie. Oishi finally smiled, but it didn't seem like he was fooling around. Please continue. It's definitely important then if he's giving us a freebie then. You see, these human-devouring demons, normally they were revered as Taoist transcendents and lived tucked away from the rest of the world. I wonder if I should, like, research into, like, more Taoist principles and history, I guess. But they ate people, after all. So apparently they go to villages in the foothills regularly and abduct their prey. They used to call that being demoned away, or onikakushi. Demoned away. It was the first time I heard such a peculiar phrase. However, I felt something slightly ominous from this horrifying tale of demons abducting people in order to eat them. Look, you know there's the common phrase, spirited away? When people suddenly go missing one day, they call it that. The same thing happens around here. They call it being demoned away. How does that old tale relate to the matter at hand? Oh no, there's no direct relationship, I'm just making some small talk here. It's just... Ka-thump, ka-thump. The car shook. What did you guys run over? At some point, the gravel road had changed to a paved one. Okay, still. It's just? Just what? Then around here, the phrase demoned away is somewhat of a code for disappearances and kidnappings. I just thought I'd mention that. And Sadako and Tepe Hojo both went quote-unquote missing after the Great Hinamizawa disaster, or at least during it happened. Oh boy. And Keiichi survived the poisoning thing happened. Did someone see the whole bridge as it happened, or at least follow along? There's another way of like how Keiichi could survive that. I don't know if this has anything to do with the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Well, you never know what small, insignificant details come back around again. It might be. It's definitely going to be helpful if it's being reintroduced again and again and again. And I'd be really even more disappointed or ticked off if anything with the demon stuff, it just completely and utterly just, completely forgone by the end of the answer arcs. Because they keep bringing it up over and over and putting so much significance on it. And then yanking it away the very last second to show, oh no, it has nothing to do with it. Even if it better have some connection to maybe how if there's people involved in it, they think it's superstition when it's really not. If they're gonna go with that explanation by the end, they have to give at least the superstitions some spotlight. It's definitely a big thing. There's a lot of things correlating and combining together, made this haphazard twisting quilt of just possibilities and what could have happened, that it must be important in some way, shape, or form, which is a foundation, just another stitching in the pattern. I don't know if it's anything to do with the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Well, there's no deep meaning behind it. It's just there's that little bit of history. Onikakushi, human-eating demons coming down to the foothills and abducting their prey. Then, in order to cancel the dam project that threatened to submerge the village they lived in, did they demon away the minister's grandson? Then, had they already made an example out of the minister's grandson and eaten him alive? I think you're taking that way too literally. It's a bit of an interesting old tale, isn't it? If you set foot in the demon's village without reason, you'll promptly be captured and eaten alive. So don't go near Onikafuchi. Kids these days might not believe such superstitions. It's cool superstition, though. Amongst the older folk in Okinomiya born in the Meijing era, many would never question these warnings. Hinamizawa village was feared by the people in the area. I recall that piece of information I heard from the Prefectural Public Safety Division. In any case, we're in the boonies out here. It's kind of expected that there'd be some superstitions around. Somebody from Tokyo like you, like Asaka-san, probably couldn't even begin to imagine it, could you? The man-eating demons, as the price for violating the sanctity of their village, kidnapped the minister's grandson and swallowed him whole. That ludicrous idea flew through my head. It was so absurd, I was half disgusted with myself. I mean, it's still an interesting tale. Don't just run out if it's absurd. It's an interesting tale. Oishi was just teasing me. Stupid. It's all really just stupid. Come to think of it, by then, I may have already been seized by the curse of the dubious village. It continues on to this day, even years after you left and stayed away from it for years and years and decades to come. For me to realize that will take a little more time. Huh? Okay. You're taking it to heart, then. Okay, then. Even though you're brushing it off, you're still taking it to heart, then. Okay. Never throw out a possibility, then. Oh my god, it's a lot. Phone call with Yuki, record of opening remarks, gears and fire, and taste the honey. What was the last one? Land of Demons achievement. Okay. This can be quite a bit, then. Okay, those are some interesting backgrounds. Okay. My gosh, actually. What was the last one called? The chick in the trunk. Huh. No, like... Huh. This is the kidnapping itself, then? Gears and fire and the taste of honey, a record of opening remarks, phone call with Yuki. I guess mostly just talking more about the main character's backstory, then. Oh, really? It's tough when it's such a sudden assignment. Please be careful. Where are you headed? You already there? Whenever I headed out on an assignment, she would ask where. Not just Yuki, but anybody would have asked the same question. It was such a cold place, she would urge me to pack a thick jacket. It was far. She'd warn me to be careful on the drive over. It was just normal everyday concern that led to asking such an obvious thing. I felt sad I couldn't answer such a run-of-the-mill question. Sorry. It's something that you can't talk about, isn't it, huh? Just, please be careful. Sorry, Yuki. Okay. At some point, you started apologizing right away. Even though when you first started your job, you were all gung-ho about it. Yuki laughed as though she had realized something. In times like this, Yuki had the magical power to see right through me. Look, okay, again, every single protagonist can see right through you, okay? Does that mean Shion, no matter what, everyone can see right through them? Except for Keiichi? Okay. So, Lee, anyone that can't see through Shion or this main character, technically that means they're also protagonist. There's no other way course about it, obviously, by this point. It's already been quite a while since I was admitted to the hospital. Are you finally getting lonely? Don't tease me. I'm too old to get lonely. I wouldn't agree to that. Oh, really? You actually like to be doted on, don't you? Don't you start getting a little faint of heart when I'm not around? Ah, jeez. I can see the little double horn sprouting from your head right now. The demons have carried home. You've always been like this. You can't hide it. You can't hide it. If I don't play with you, you get all lonely. I can hear your tail wagging over the phone. This side of Yuki wasn't something you could guess existed from seeing her usual modest behavior. That's something that she didn't show to anybody else but me. Normally I poke her to hide my embarrassment and bring an end to the conversation, but I couldn't do that over the phone. Just push your hand right through the phone's receiver and go all the way through the wires and do that. Of course, Yuki was clever. She was teasing me because of that. I wonder when I figured out that giving you grief was this much fun. Yes, teasing, joking about it, and just all around that kind of stuff. My favorite thing. Give me a break. In any case, it's good to hear you so lively still. I know, right? Did I cheer you up? I called Yuki to keep her from feeling lonely when she was by herself in the hospital room. She put it right back to you. Of course, that was nothing more than a pretense that I, being shy, had come up with. It seemed that Yuki had long since seen through this act. Yeah. Please phone again. I'm not feeling up to it. I got my father to talk with you. Although, if you're talking about my father, I get the feeling that you'd be standing at attention on the other side of the line. Salute. For a while longer, Yuki kept teasing me without letting me end the call. That's still sweet, though. A record of opening remarks. Chairman Blank, members of the Blank Party, congratulations are due, as we are celebrating 25 years since our founding. These past 25 years have seen much growth in the Blank Prefecture. The once quiet scenery of nothing but fields now has seen the opening of a new stop for the bullet train. And with the development of the highway, we've seen the rebirth of a modern city bursting with youthful energy. We've reaped the benefits of new businesses and industry. And with the special reverence the residents of Blank Prefecture have for time-honored traditions, history, and culture, business and industry, with these ideals in harmony, they have accomplished in growing their city into one of Japan's foremost metropolises. Of course, the development of Blank Prefecture couldn't have happened without the growth of the Blank Party. The Blank Party. We resolved to see every one of our campaign promises to fruition, reaching our targets definitively, expeditively like arrows fired from a bow. With these arrows are the fundamental basis of the Blank Party. Our members have sought to pierce the obstructions preventing the happiness of the residents of Blank Prefecture. but I do believe that everybody here is unlike an ordinary arrow. While being as unfaltering and straightforward, we have not neglected in seeking solutions that conform to the current day and age while also keeping an eye on the future. An arrow, once loosened, can only fly to its destination. Everyone here, however, is no simple arrow. Even once loosened from the bow, without neglecting our studies, while employing new methods, and implementing more effective and flexible ideas, thus being able to change trajectories mid-flight, we are magical arrows. The modern age marches ever forward. Sometimes, it marches faster than the time taken from planning to execution. The following part was not in the script. It is thought to have been ad-libbed by the minister. For example, there have recently been numerous problems in the Hinamizawa power plant project. Oh, okay. Rather than forcing through the product solely because it was decided upon by the government, it is necessary to reflect on and adjust to the ever-changing needs of the residents, the region, the next generation. The protests by the local residents that surround the Hinamizawa Dam, these are also the will of the people of the blank prefecture. Huh. You feel that there is no need to listen because the product has already been finalized, then you do nothing more than shed a poor light on Japan's post-war democracy. Huh. The following is per the script. The lasting happiness of the citizens of Japan and the residents of Blank Prefecture, please consider these policies thoroughly. I believe, however, we have all gained something from the flexibility and foresight of the Blank Party. I've taken much of your time. However, allow me to say the following to celebrate the 25th anniversary of our founding. Chairman Blank, members of the Blank Party in attendance, thank you very much for today. The opening remarks of the Blank Party Prefectural Forum and 25th anniversary celebration. Wonder why we need to know about that. It's someone who wants to become more in power in politics, like be a leader then? And they're giving that address to like people inside there? Huh. They do say one of the big things about politicians like just campaign. At least that's what I can understand anyway. Like get your, I guess what you want to put onto your you plan on doing your, I guess, when you get elected out there. Gears and Fire and the Taste of Honey. That's the most interesting title for any of these tips so far, honestly. Okay, this is already ominous. The world is filled with people blessed with relationships. Friendships, romantic ones, okay. Of course, that doesn't mean that everyone is connected to each other. It's obvious that on the other side of the planet, there are people laughing and crying and can't possibly have an effect on you. However, in the extremely limited community of the neighborhood, that sort of connection is just matter of fact. It's quite possible that a single remarkable event could have massive consequences inside a small community. Yes. If you were to increase that in scale, a perfect stranger on the other side of the globe might become enough of a legend to have an effect on our lives. Well, it's not always that way. Like I said at the beginning, the links between people basically aren't that relevant in the grand scheme of things. If some household nearby is having steak or croquettes, doesn't matter to me. When I put on my shoes, doesn't matter to anybody whether I put the right one on first or the left. This much the average person can understand. But actually, in reality, this is the truth. The bonds between people are quite well defined. It's not just a matter of distance, of being far or near. For example, let's say that person A's actions have some effect on me. Even then, person B's actions could have obviously no consequence in my life. The reverse also holds true. Just because my actions affect person A, doesn't always mean that they affect person B as well. Let's put it bluntly. The bonds between people are like gears in a machine. The gear that represents me meshes with some people, but is isolated from others. Ah, okay, you're really just talking about, like, I guess who can talk to who, and, like, I guess whose people are going to listen to and all that. I guess the web, they, like, allow themselves to be open to, almost. Yeah. It almost seems like it's also your version, like the story's version of, like, talking about butterfly effect also, just in the sound of it. There are some who would try arguing against this. Those people would bring up the example of gears and a clock. Each gear, indeed, only directly meshes with one or two others. However, if you rotate one gear, the one next to it is moved, which connects to the next one, and the next. In the end, all the gears are moving. Basically. There is a logic behind this. more than enough to convince the average person. Why is the argument convincing? The answer is simple. The relationships between people are ambiguous and can only be described conceptually. How the gears are connected and how their movements are chained together can't be used as a fundamental explanation, so it throws a wet blanket in that argument. So for the people who like that explanation, I'll use the example of a clock again to refute it. First of all, to say this world is a singular clock would be wrong. It's a bunch of different ones altogether. To the point of it's so complex for some people to understand. That is, there isn't only one clock. There exists many clocks in this world, each counting their own time. If you think about it, the idea of this world of just one big clock is the height of arrogance. If you use the analogy of gears to explain human relationships, then you should be able to explain it using an analogy of multiple clocks unrelated to a single gear. Neighbors A and B. A is a gear in the same clock as me, so it's best to remain civil. B is a gear in a different clock, so it doesn't really matter to me at all. Yeah. That's the kind of clear distinction I'm talking about. Actually, that actually makes a lot of sense if you put it that way. You want to say I'm being fallacious? Let's change the analogy to something more familiar, so you can understand. You probably heard the phrase, a fire in the opposite shore, sometime in your life, no? No. For example, your neighbor's house is on fire. You'd probably try and help to put it out, wouldn't you? Be awful if the fire spread and burned down your own house after all. What if the fire was in a town on the opposite side of the river? Would you still go out your way to help? You wouldn't, would you? Even though it would be the wrong thing to do. There's no way the fire could spread to your own house. If it turned into a huge conflagration, there's no relation between the houses that will spread fire to yours and those that won't. This basic example, you should be able to see the difference between gears that are or aren't related to your own. Having said that, there's still a lot to think about, even without a river to divide it. After all, it's not a spatial problem like being on the other side of the river, is it? That he seems to be describing of him, might be also a case of explaining exactly maybe why no one exactly cares to explain things to Keiichi unless, he makes the effort to actually become more involved in the town and all that, to be actually involved in such events. Until then, he's still an outsider, and again, like I said before, you don't know these people, Keiichi. You only talk to them for over a month. You don't know what's exactly going on unless you spend more and more time with them. I guess you could say another thing is relationships as well. Sure, let's just say oh, you have a crush on that person over there. It just might be because of surface level, personality traits or just how they look. But that's just the general thing. That's just surface level. And you're not going to get that close to them at all unless you make an effort. At least try to, spend more time with them, honestly. That's literally the only way. But if they're out of your league, or, live somewhere else, unless you want to try to, take those methods to, go across that river, or, try to get up to a different league entirely, match up to them, it's why would you care? Or why even bother? That kind of feeling. But what does the taste of honey have to do anything with this tip section? Especially with that. Why is that included in this as well? And again, why is there blood splatter on here? Again, why is it here? The chick in the trunk. Apply for the kidnapping. The car had stopped. But he didn't know any more than that. For not only was he blindfolded, but locked in the trunk of the car, if this is not the kidnapping situation, then I don't know what is. How could people become this powerless just by being raw to their sight? Yeah. He absolutely wouldn't have known this without experiencing it firsthand. He soon realized it was pointless to try and undo his bonds. The confines of the trunk quickly making him lightheaded. He had no choice but to let this mild torture dull his senses. That's why, when the car stopped, and the unpleasant vibration ceased as the engine was killed, he couldn't help but delude himself that he was being set free, even though nothing had been resolved in reality. Of course, he was soon removed from that delusion. He strained his ears when he heard one of the men who abducted him, an older man he was hearing for the first time, strike up a conversation. Nice to see you. The chick is in the trunk. He struggled so much that he's probably exhausted right now, but there's not a mark on him, just as ordered. Ah, must have been a handful. The trunk opened, letting in a blast of fresh, cool air. Even though up until just now he had been thinking about getting out of that stuffy trunk was actually opened, he suddenly became uneasy. Well, yeah, because someone opened the trunk and it's staring down at you. Naturally, he wished that the lid of the trunk would once again close, separating himself from them. Suddenly, somebody stroked his head. What the hell? Of course, he was blindfolded. He couldn't tell if the hand was petting him or simply evaluating how easy it would be to remove his scalp. Either way, that's just absolutely terrifying. And why? Unable to tell the difference, he can only freeze imagine the worst case scenario. Poor little bugger. He's shaken. Just stay calm for a bit. The older man said that kindly as he gently stroked the boy's head. That's still weird, stop. Must be real tough for you. You see, your grandson's a nice man. He'll help you out soon enough. Having heard nothing but the average standard dialect his whole life, the older man's distinct intonation left a deep impression on the boy. But he had no idea what he was saying. The accent was too strong to understand. For your gramps, register as meaning your grandfather, took a while to process. Eventually, the hand that was stroking his head loosened the blindfold. Can't keep his eyes covered. He was lets his face open, it'd be bad. And with that, we might as well take out the gag. You keep breathes like that. Be trouble if he yells. Even to us. Geez, you guys don't know how to treat somebody. The main family said no rough stuff. You better remove that well. Yeah, we won't do anything stupid. As long as the kid cooperates, that is. The man's hand prodded roughly and repeatedly the boy's head. A rugged hand, unlike the affectionate one that had been stroking his head before. Yeah. Just stay cooperative. You struggle. There's no guarantee what will happen. That cliched threat was literally beaten to his head. In this situation, it's always best to, what was it? If, like, before you get kidnapped, it's always best, like, if you have ever chance, let him, before you get taken away, do everything in your power to escape the vehicle and the kidnappers. At least get some attention on you. No matter what it is, make sure you don't get in that van. If you do, then try to strike a conversation, be as humanizing to the kidnappers as possible so they mitigate any harm to you, just keep yourself alive. Because the very second you're in the situation they want, you're completely at their mercy. There's no other way about it. Just do anything you can to keep yourself alive. That's all the tips. Definitely okay. So definitely from this installment, it's gonna be way much more different, following along the detective as the main story, and we're partnering up with Oishi. It's gonna be another bit as get used to training from from a little kid to being like a fully fledged adult, going into all this lingo and just terminology of like police departments and of like just politics, stuff like that. And we're definitely in the thick of the Hinamizawa Dam project, which is actually an interesting way to look through it. Even though like Rika's definitely the face of this, so she's appeared at one point or another. So it means like you're gonna talk to the Furudes, I guess, at some point, or literally just she's just a face because like they have no other sprites and they just want to put something up there just to make it look appealing. There's that too, honestly. We haven't seen a single sprite besides Oishi like this entire time, honestly. So there's also that. I wonder if we even learned about Rika around here, at least through families like from this angle back then. It's definitely gonna be harder for me to understand because of the whole politics and the police terminology, lingo, and all that as well, and me trying to pick up exactly what's part of, I guess, some more cultural investigation on this end as well. So it's gonna be a lot of things, I guess, be accessibility-wise, I guess, obstacle for me, but maybe I'll try to figure out as it goes along, and I'm just highlight when I'm like get confused about certain things. That'll probably help along. That was the first chapter. I'm assuming there's gonna be 5 more before it ends outright completely. There's no choice that just left. I'm still wondering, exactly how the choice will even end, especially since we know from the very beginning that I'm the main character here, and also Oishi, they're not gonna get killed, maybe injured in a way, but not deathly, fatally injured almost completely. There's those choices. And probably only the choice will likely lead down to like maybe it's flavor text and stuff like that. It's a weird departure for this chapter to also have the option to have those in, or maybe just better to have them without the option entirely. I'll try to figure out what's the best option to go from here. But I guess we'll figure out how things all go for next time. So, hope fun time watches as I am playing this. Hope to see you next time, what time that may be. And I hope a fantastic day.